Salam and hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're just kicking off with baking. Let us proceed with the ingredients which I have used in the following biscuits that I will be doing. These are coconut biscuits. The one is a plain coconut biscuit and the other one I will then be making a Romany creams with a chocolate spread. As you can see, I used 250 grams worth of margarine, 1 cup of caster sugar. I will then be adding a teaspoon of vanilla essence and mix everything until it's smooth out. Thereafter, I will add 2 eggs, mix everything together. Then I will add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3 cups of coconut. I will then fold in the coconut to the margarine and sugar mixture until everything is smooth and nicely soft. Then I will add my flour. The flour you can use 2 cups. I use 3 cups, let's say 3.5 cups, and then mix that all together. The dough should be soft. You will notice that my dough is not soft because it's not going to be mixed well together. I will then split it into 2. The reason why I added extra flour is because I want to make 2 batches of biscuits. One which is Romany creams. The other one is a plain coconut, as I've said in the beginning of the recipe. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to divide the dough. Then I will add a little bit of cooking oil so that it can firm nicely and be soft the way it's supposed to be. And then on the other one, I will then add a heaped spoon of cocoa powder as well as cooking oil and then mix everything thoroughly. What I'll be doing next is roll out the dough on a floured surface, then use a fork and scrape the top of the dough, and then I will use a square cutter for the plain coconut and then an oval cutter for the Romany creams biscuits. Then I will bake these at 180 degrees 10 to 15 minutes depending on your oven. Some people's ovens are faster, so 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. this is the point where you can see that I did add more flour than usual. I'd like to just tell you that if you are making Romany creams only, then you can add 2 teaspoons of, this is the correct measurements for Romany creams, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then a quarter of a cup of cooking oil. Then everything will fold in nicely together. I will now be using my hand because the spatula isn't allowing me to feel what it feels like. I'm going to dig in with my hands. I ordered gloves from Takealot. I am still waiting for my order to arrive. Once they arrive, then I'll start using gloves for my hands. So for those who do not like this, I just went in with my hands. I always liked baking, experimenting, but now my favorite thing is sugar craft. I like to work on fondant, and the best part of everything is royal icing, guys. I like to decorate cookies with royal icing, and it tastes nice. This is nice for kids as well. They love it. You can flavor it as well. So there's so many things you can do. You can draw on it. It's like art on its own. I don't know how to explain it, but as time goes on, we will get to share all of the fun stuff. But for now, let's focus mostly on homemaking, and then the hobby will be next. So here is the part where I'm going to divide. The one part that I'll be using as a coconut biscuit, I'm also going to add a bit of oil so that it can be nice and firm and a nice soft one. The other one will be then my Romany creams portion, where I will add a heap spoon of cocoa powder with some oil and then mix everything well together. I will roll it out on a surface flour. I think I did explain the whole process. And then I hope everybody's still fine and you are still enjoying the rest of the content. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You are highly appreciated. To all my new subscribers, welcome, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing. To everybody who's subscribing and unsubscribing, you are welcome and goodbye. And if you want to come back again, you are more than welcome. You are favored here. Nobody's left behind. The perfect thickness for a dough, according to me, is 8 millimeters, but the recipe which I'm following says 7 millimeters thick. I personally would like mine thicker than this, so I used 10 millimeters so that it can be thick enough. So this is the normal one that I always use, 10. If I could make them a bit thicker than that, then they look so nicely. But for that, you can always just add, like I've said, your extra baking powder, and then when you bake them, then they puff a little bit more. But we want ours to be nice and crisp. We don't want them to come out like a scone. And now we are done sprinkling. Look at that, how nicely they came out. Bake in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Now we are repeating the same process with the oval shape for our Romany creams. Bake for 10 to 15 minutes. Now we are starting off with our favorite oat biscuits. I'm putting everything in a row so that it can be easily accessible. We don't want to run around when we are busy baking. We're starting off with coconut, 1 cup, 1 cup of sugar, caster sugar, 1 cup of flour, cake flour, and then 2 cups of rolled oats. Today I had a green smoothie for lunch. Let's say on this day I had a green smoothie for lunch. I am trying my level best to stay away from my starches and from, you know, all types of foods and stuff like that because of my weight. let's not even go there. So now we mix everything well, we combine everything well, all the dry ingredients. Then in a pan, I'm going to heat up 250 grams of butter. You heat it up on the stove, but in this case I use the micro oven because I've done this so many times over and over again. Then here you add 1 tablespoon of syrup. I usually add 3 tablespoons of syrup because once you're done, you don't even taste it, so it doesn't taste the same. I gave this recipe to someone once and she used only 1 teaspoon of syrup and it didn't taste the way mine tasted. So then I realized that every time I do this, I add more syrup. So you can say that is about, because it was the last of the bottle, that is about 3 tablespoons of syrup. So don't be shy on the syrup. These rolled oats are healthy. I'm going to pop it back into the microwave for 30 seconds for the 30 seconds again for the water for the butter to boil up again, to heat up further. Then I will add half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and then mix everything together fast, real fast, because the butter is still very hot. And then I will add it to my dry ingredients and then fold it in well. Once this is done, in a pan lined with baking paper, I'm going to spread the whole mixture and then once again bake for 10 to 15 minutes at 180 degrees until it's slightly golden brown. And then take it out from the oven after 10 to 15 minutes and then cut it up immediately. Now I've learned a technique where I use my cutter to cut it because I can't cut straight, and I do not have that cutter, that baking one. You guys know the one. I don't know how to explain it. Nevertheless, let's continue. You will see how I cut it. It's nice, it's simple, it's easy. I found the easier way to do it and I do not even waste anything. So I'm going to cut out my fingers using a square cookie cutter, and then while I cut, the one will overlap the other one. That is how I get all the fingers out. You can use a glass and press it down. I see people doing that, but the back end of a spoon does the job perfectly, and you're not going to have an uneven, because the recipe is exact, and then when you put the mixture into your pan, then already you have leveled it somehow. So now I'm just making it smooth. I'm just pressing it down to be smooth out. So there's no need for this whole, or maybe because I'm already used to doing it, you can then use a glass to just press it down gently for it to be nice and smooth. So here's a perfect demonstration of how the overlapping goes. As you can see, everything is cut out. No extras on the sides that we're going to put aside as a, I don't know what they call it, as crumbs or something, because now we have all our squares out. Not squares, yeah, let's call them squares for now. Our bars, our OT bars. Guys, I'm not good at this, but anyway, you do get the point. So now I've snapped again, so the craziness is a bit back because the English is gone. Yeah, I am starting off with chocolate. I used dairy milk into the microwave, melted it down. Romany creams, homemade, fresh, delicious, tasty goodness, coconut and me. We are friends. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the love, the support, and may Allah continue to bless you and bless my channel and bless everyone.